guys, welcome back here to the Fishing Teacher. I appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. We are going to be talking about one of my favorite springtime lures that works really good in the month of April, and that is a Wacky Shot. I'm going to show you guys how to rig it. This is the Wacky Shot head right here. A couple different baits you can fish on it, but the presentation of a Wacky Head or a Wacky Shot rig, very similar to just a straight Wacky rig with with a little bit of difference in there. I'm going to explain to you guys when it works better than just a regular Wacky rig. Definitely going to add up to some good fish for you guys. And also, guys, I will put this Wacky Shot. This is called the Gamakatsu Wacky Shot. I'll put this in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description if you guys would like to order a few packs on it. Most of the time, I use either an 1/8 ounce or 1/16 ounce head, depending upon the wind. But I'll have that link in the description along with the bait I use, which is the Zoom Zlinky here. Any type of soft plastic stick bait. I'll link both of these in the description of the video if you guys would like to order some. Also, guys, two quick things to remind you of. Tomorrow night, we have my next live stream, my private live stream. If you're interested in being part of it, guys, all you have to do is join as a channel member with the Fishing Teacher. Just go to the home page, click on the join button for memberships options. We got them started starting like at $5 a month. A lot of different perks to being a member, or you can join the Patreon program, link in the description there. Like I said, we're gonna have that live stream tomorrow night, 6:30 Central Standard Time, which will be March 26th is the date of it. And real quick, guys, anybody interested in booking a private on-the-water lesson with me, just go to my Facebook page, Intuitive Angling with Randy Blaukat. Shoot me a private message, and I'll fill you in the details of going fishing with me on a private lesson, so appreciate that. Okay, guys, this is one of my favorite deals, man, this time of year. I catch a ton of fish on it. A Wacky Shot is basically a Wacky rig that's weighted on the head. Now, all it is, it's the same type of hook you use with a Wacky rig, except some of them have weed guards, others don't. I usually don't use a weed guard. I usually cut it off. And then you've got the head here, various weights on it, and you hook it just like a Wacky rig. You come right in the middle here, very simple. That's the setup with the Wacky Shot rig. Now, here's the thing that makes it different than a regular Wacky rig. Number one, it's obviously going to fall faster. So you have a lot more options as far as depth options and rate of fall with it. I usually like the 1/16 of an ounce. The only time I use an 1/8 ounce is if it's really windy or if I'm fishing really deep. Say if I'm fishing down 15 or 20 foot deep, I may go to the 1/8 ounce. Or if it's one of those days where the wind's blowing 15 or 20, I may go to an 1/8 ounce. But for the most part, I like the 1/16. And with the 1/16 ounce, it's gonna fall about like this, about just like this. 1/8 ounce is gonna fall just about like that. So here's a situation where a Wacky Shot works better than a Wacky rig. For me, a Wacky rig is pretty much relegated if you're fishing water depth of 5 feet or less. That's when I use a Wacky because it's a real slow fall. If I'm fishing deeper, say for example, if I'm fishing, 5 to 20 foot deep, which I do a lot in April, especially in clear water, that's when I'll go to the Wacky Shot to get it down on the bottom a little bit quicker. That's one thing about it. Or like I said, if you're, say if you're fishing, say if the fish are less than 5 foot of water and it's just blowing like a mother, it's blowing 20 miles an hour. And when you throw a Wacky rig out there, it just skirts around, it just like floats along the top because it's so windy. Then you can go to the Wacky Shot to get that presentation down. But the main thing, the way that I fish it, is just like a shaky head. When I throw a Wacky Shot, I work it the same way as I do a shaky head. There's no difference with it. It's just a different presentation. So I'll throw it out there, for example, say if I throw it on a point or just a bank out there, throw it out there, I'll let it go to the bottom. It's very important on a Wacky Shot to watch your line as it falls because you will get bites on the way down, especially in clear water. If you're fishing a little bit deeper, like say the water is 20 foot deep and you got water visibility of 4 or 5 foot clarity, I catch a lot of fish on it just on the way down. They'll come up and hit it just like a Wacky, but mainly I'm waiting for it to get to the bottom. So when it gets to the bottom, I'll let it hit the bottom and then I'll just shake it and pull it like that. So I'll just shake it like I would a shaky head with the rod tip, just shaking it like that, pull it maybe 2 foot, let it fall back down, shake it, pull it like that. So it's on the bottom like this and it's sort of just crawling along the bottom like this, and then I pull it up, let it fall, crawls along the bottom there. But the difference is, it's all about the mood and the personality of the fish they want. Some days, they want it rigged wacky like this. They just like the presentation of it. And some days they want it on a shaky head, where it's just a straight worm with a shaky head on it. So the main thing with that is you have to determine the mood and the personality of the fish, what they want day in and day out. This is one of the primary things when you're fishing soft plastics in the springtime of the year. Is every day's different. And a lot of times, you know, the days that they prefer a wacky rig setup versus a shaky head setup, in my opinion, has to do with the water clarity and light intensity. I have found in general, when that water temperature is sort of between, I'll say 60 and 70 degrees, that's when the Wacky Shot is best. And it's also best if you have cleaner water than the shaky head setup. Now, a shaky head, I catch fish on it in anything from about 2 foot of visibility greater. But for me, a shaky head is gonna work really, really good when that water visibility is between like 2 to 5 foot. If you've got a more clear water situation, say the water visibility is over 4 or 5 foot clarity, some lakes across the country, you know, you've got 10 foot of clarity. The cleaner the water, normally, the better they will bite a Wacky Shot over a shaky head. Not that you can't catch them in super clear water on a shaky head, because you absolutely can. But the times that I try to make those determinations is that water clarity. Now, another thing with that is water clarity is also affected, as far as the visibility in that, by the light intensity. So let's say, for example, if you've got water visibility of 3 or 4 feet and you've got a bright bluebird day with not much wind on it, that puts more light penetration into the water, and it gives the fish more visibility. In a situation like that, the Wacky Shot's going to be pretty good with it. But for the main part, it's like when I'm thinking Wacky Shot, I'm thinking about when those fish are in 10 to 20 foot of water, which they are a lot in the springtime. If you fish, like, for example, here in the Ozarks, yeah, if you're down here in April, like at Table Rock Lake, you're going to see a lot of fish in 2 to 4 foot of water in clear water on the beds. But the bigger fish and a lot more fish are going to be hanging out deeper, like in 15 or 20 foot of water, you know, just adjacent to those fish that are spawning shallow. And that's when I like to fish the Wacky Shot, when they're deeper, when they're on secondary and main lake points, sometimes on bluffy banks, can work really good. And one other time that I have caught them good on a Wacky Shot is in the fall time of the year, in the what's called the ditches and guts. Sometimes, like in October and November, you can go like in the middle of the coves and throw that Wacky Shot right down the middle of the coves if you have a clear water situation. And you can catch fish in those guts and ditches on the Wacky rig in the fall time, on the Wacky Shot in the fall time of the year. But the main thing, guys, is just experiment with it. It's good, you know, just pick you up a couple packs there at my tackle warehouse link, have them in your box, and if you get out there and you're catching some fish on a Ned rig or a shaky head or a Wacky rig or something like that, and the wind comes up or you're fishing deeper, or sometimes they just want a faster fall with the Wacky. I mean, it's experimentation. I've seen sometimes where they're biting a Wacky rig, you know, like I'm fishing, say, 3 to 4 foot of water with a Wacky rig, and I'll put it on a Wacky Shot, and sometimes the bass just want that faster fall. It's all a matter of experimentation and seeing what they prefer day in and day out. So anyway, guys, good technique to file away for your fishing. Like I said, I've caught lots of fish on it. Hope it helps you guys catch some good ones, and we'll talk later.